Hey
Hello.
everyone, Kristen and Jaclyn here, and we're going to have a little fireside chat, just a little fun here to talk about what does a client engagement specialist do. And this also marks the 1 year anniversary that Jaclyn has been with the Upleveling Your Business team. So super congrats, Jaclyn. Very happy. You've made such a world of difference for all of us. And you started in that client engagement role and have moved on and moved up, although you still help me from time to time. So excited to have you here sharing some tips and nuggets to help everybody understand what a client engagement specialist does.
Happy to be here, and even more happy to have been on the team for a year and helped contribute to our growth and our success.
Awesome, awesome. So today we're going to talk a little bit about what does a client engagement specialist do, and then we're going to talk a little bit about how to work with them and how do you hold them accountable, because we know from experience that if you don't know what you're going to have this person do, it's really hard to manage them, right? And that's something that we work with clients with all the time. So we're going to kind of work through some of these questions. Jaclyn, do you want to talk a little bit about the mindset for success? What it was like when you came in and having that onboarding, that, this hiring systems. I know you help us with the hiring and onboarding boot camp. You really run it these days. Share a little bit about this mindset for success.
So first is attracting the right team member, right? So it's someone that understands your brand, your mission, and what your business is trying to accomplish, and finding those right team members that align with your core values and the company that you want to build and the clients that you want to work with. So having experience in all of those areas is really important. So making sure that you curate the job descriptions and the recruiting processes that attract those ideal candidates. I think that one of the things I hear a lot in the boot camp is people not knowing where to start and just taking what they've always done and then repeating those practices and getting the same results and experiencing frustration because they just don't know where to start. So one of the things we really teach people to do is how to craft the job description that matches the person they're trying to hire.
Yes. And that's, it starts with that job description. And this is all about how to get the most out of a client engagement specialist. Like you've got to have a good, strong job description and then get that ad out there and really resonate and attract. I know you work with business owners all the time. And in January, we had a ton of people hiring, lots of great associates and paras. I know I was on the phone with clients this week. We had multiple people telling us about great people they had hired using our technique. So that was awesome. But how do you know kind of how do you know, when is it the right kind of person that's a yes, that should move on through the hiring process?
I think it's a part of setting the criteria that you have liked with other team members that you've onboarded. So what are the ideal traits that you've had in candidates that have been successful for your team before? And how do you emulate those characteristics in your new hire? So what was it about the successful members of your team that you want to have in this new person? And then in the role, having the characteristics that that person needs to accomplish and setting the guidelines to hire under those. So what are the technical experience that they need to have? What is the personal characteristics that they need to have? Is personality testing part of that to make sure that they're a culture fit? There's a lot of different avenues that, depending on the type of candidate that you're looking to hire, that we can help support you in determining what criteria you need to distinguish in those descriptions and in the hiring process.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's part of this is, right, like that attracting and resonating, and really, like, as you interview them and making sure that they have the same values and that they have the same characteristics as the rest of the culture you're building in the team that you have, so they really fit in right away. The last thing you want to do is bring someone in who's just going to buck the system, right? They always want it their way. That's a recipe for disaster. Let's just be clear. So, I know you spend a lot of time with owners and admins and staff to to really craft some of those characteristics and be clear on what we're trying to attract. And then through that interview process, really resonating and having that mindset of, we're going to find an amazing, amazing person that's going to be the right fit right now. Like be open to the universe bringing you this amazing client engagement specialist is like half the battle.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think that it's a process. Like people think they can just post it and they're going to automatically get it. And in the current job climate, what they're finding is if they just put one job description and a couple things that person's going to do, they're getting all different kinds of applicants to apply. So what you want to do is you want to put specifics about your business in it, and you want to have the things that person would be doing and what sets you apart from the person down the street that's hiring for that same position. The uniqueness that is your brand and your business is what's going to help people be attracted to your business.
Absolutely. And be interested in them and engage them. I mean, I know with Wise Hire and Breezy and HR Partner and the different ones we talk about in the hiring and onboarding bootcamp, you spend a lot of time helping people put in those automatic email responses. It's like, hey, thanks for applying. As we go through resumes, please share with us something that's not on your resume, or, congrats, we want to learn more about you, or, hey, as we get ready for the interview, tell me about this, so that you're really engaging them. And that's what's going to keep that top talent really kind of interested in you, as well as you get to learn more about them. So that engagement piece, I know a couple of different people have told me that the people they hired really commented on how much they knew they were in the right place, the way it was set up. So the firm engaged with them as they went through the process. So such a powerful part. Well, so listen, let's move on. The next part to where we are is the 6 steps to client engagement. So walk us through a little bit here of what you're doing. What are some of the components, and let's break down each one. So engagement, share a little bit about this initial stage of the process.
So this is if they have contacted us, if they've attended a webinar, it's reaching out to them to see if they have any questions about the materials that they downloaded from the webinar, integrating the workbook, sharing how it's affected their mindset and what they learned, seeing what questions someone on their team has, seeing if they need a replay for someone else on their team. And it's just trying to really give them the value add that it is for whatever they've contacted us for. If they signed up for a newsletter or they've contacted us on social media, it's really understanding what is unique to their business needs at that time. Is it that they need a systems package? Do they need coaching? And letting them just talk through it, because the clarity comes through the conversation where they are able to select what it is they need. Maybe they just need a little more time in terms of resources to look at it. They haven't gotten a chance to do it. So it's saying, okay, well, let's put a date on your calendar in a few weeks when you can come back to it. It's really looking at where they are, what they need, and how we can keep them moving forward and making progress in their goals, because they contacted us for a reason. So there's a need.
Yeah. And I love that. I mean, it's about listening and engaging. What do they need? Maybe you can help them, maybe you can't. I often will send people to other sources and say, what you really need right now is, like maybe they're working on Clio and they're trying to put stuff together. I'll give a quick shout out to Melanie Leonard at Streamline.legal. She does an amazing job of her and her team putting this stuff together and helping it connect into Clio, like just a phenomenal job. And so sometimes that's the instruction I have for the person. It's like, before you do anything else, go fix this, and so really engage people, learn, listen, see what's going on. If they're the right fit, and this is what we train the client engagement specialist to do. You did this role. I've done this role. We've trained other people to do this role, to now nurture and bring them through that engagement into the preconditioning phase. Tell us about the preconditioning phase. What are some of the elements that sometimes go into this?
So if it's someone who is just contacted us from a website lead, or someone gave them their name, so it was a reference from someone else, it's letting them know who we are and what we do. So it's offering them to join our Facebook group, our LinkedIn group, just to start to know more about us. It's like, hey, come watch our YouTube channel. Make sure our voice and our mission align with what it is that you're looking for. It's, here's a couple of free resources. You mentioned you were struggling with goal setting. So here's a resource on short-term goal planning and long-term goal planning. It's knowing the ways that we have that we can quickly help them identify what else they need so that they keep moving forward. So that preconditioning is helping them. Oh, I think I have this need right now. It's like, okay, let's address that. Let's talk that through. And then let's put a time on the calendar to talk again, and just keep connecting, and in each phase giving them something more of value.
Yeah. And so part of this is, preconditioning is the client mindset, getting them feeling comfortable with us and wanting to hire us, and learning about what we do, and engaging and us helping them move forward a little bit by giving them something. So preconditioning is completely the client mindset. At the same time, we're doing the pre-screening, which is our mindset. Do we want this client, right? Tell us a little bit about the pre-screening process.
So that's understanding a little bit of if they are someone who's going to take the action, or are they someone that's really stuck in their own way. They don't have the ability to be coached. They're in a victim mindset that they're not willing to contribute. Everything else is life happening to them. So they may not be a good candidate for coaching. So it's making suggestions for them of other ways that we could help them, like join our free webinars and continue to learn and obtain free resources for us till you are in a different place and ready to receive or not. It's looking to see if they are someone who is going to take the action in the systems package. If we have a systems package and you need to customize it, yes, we can help you do that, but you need to be able to take that action to make it yours. Otherwise, they're not going to see the value, and it's not going to be worthwhile for them. And then they didn't take the action to make it theirs. So then they're not our raving fan. They're not going to keep coming back to us. So if we don't want to sell them something that they're not going to use.
Yeah. So again, this is where the pre-screening is our mindset in this. The preconditioning is the client mindset. Do we, do they want to hire us? And our question is, do we want to work with this person? Right. And it all comes together and it funnels into having an honest conversation and having a sales conversation. So you want to tackle the sales conversation piece?
So that is really getting clear on, all right, so you've followed us for some time, you've seen some materials, you've taken interest in attended a couple webinars, you've talked to other people that have worked with us. So it's getting clear on what is your budget and what do you want to spend, what do you want to invest in your business at this time, and can you afford the thing that you want? Some people have different needs at different times, and we can put their goals into those timelines based on the financials that they have. The sales conversation is to have a candid conversation about what it is that they need, what it is that they can afford, both in time and in money, because we look at affording from both perspectives. If it's someone who's not going to be able to put the time into the coaching, then the coaching isn't going to be the path for them, even if they could afford it.
Yeah. And that's just part of, in having honest conversations. And it's okay. I mean, I talk to people all the time. I say, hey, last January, I talked to two young lawyers and they were just getting started. And I said, go do these 5 things. And, when you start doing 40,000 a month, come back and chat with us then. And, we're happy to do stuff. In the meantime, they joined our business mastery college. In November, they came back and said, hey, we're doing 40,000 a month now. And we want to be part of your coaching program, and which is awesome, but not everybody is ready to, is the right fit. And having that honest conversation, the sales consultation is really just a conversation. So, real quick, talk about the handoff. I'm making a little heart shape here because making sure that once we make the sale, that we bring them over to the team, that goes smooth, and checking in with the client and just making sure that there's that thread. Tell us how the client engagement specialist can do those elements and really give that wow factor.
So with the handoff, it's making sure that people on the team are aware of what it is that that person is doing with us. So if it's a coaching client, it's making sure that they get entered into our coaching program, that they receive their welcome box. So there's a lot of different people that are involved. One of the things we do is we use that through automations and through software. But if it was a smaller business, then that would just be informing the team. It would be an email, hey, these are the clients that are coming aboard this week. Let's welcome them. Let's make sure they get calendared, and setting clear expectations of the who shall do what by when on the team. So who has the ball next, and when do they need to contact them by, and how long are they going to be working with them, so that we really lay that foundation for the team to pick up the balls and have their success for the various pieces that they have.
Yeah. And then that leads to, now sometimes this is our client happiness coordinator who also checks in with the client and makes sure they're doing well, and then takes the ball and runs with it for the lifetime of the client. But talk about the value of having the client engagement specialist kind of doing some of this stuff as well, just checking in, making sure, being that continuous voice, that thread all the way through that beginning process.
So especially if this is someone new to the level of awareness with our group, if it's someone who's joining BMC and that's more of an automated, do at their own pace type of training with Business Mastery College, or if it's someone who's buying a systems package, it's checking in a month, in 6 weeks, in 2 weeks at various times that can be predicted and put into task lists, so that you can check in on email or phone or see how the progress is going. If you can access the productivity in these, you can see they haven't even logged in yet. So is it a technical problem they're having? Do they need help blocking some time in that calendar to make sure that they move it forward? Do they need it to be assigned to someone else on their team? So it's checking in, because we can see within that check-in phase that something may be happening that they need our support for, so that they can keep making progress in the programs.
Yeah. And sometimes we pivot. Sometimes, things happen and we have to say, oh, wow, okay, let's deal with this other thing, and then we'll come back. And, it's again, listening to what our clients need. And that's the value of a client engagement specialist who has been there since that very first nurture and engagement, right? Way back in here, they know what's going on with this client all the way through the process. And they're often the ones that can say, hey, whoa, wait, things have changed, or we need to pivot and improvise into something else. So lots of great stuff in there. Let me kind of move on here. I'm going to get rid of this laser pointer here. Let's talk a little bit more about what a client engagement specialist does, and what on the client side and on the team side.
So in terms of developing a rapport, it's that connecting with them on the social media. Let's make sure we connect in the different places where you hang out. Are you someone who's on Facebook? Are you more on LinkedIn? Just so that you can start to see the things that we post and see what resonates for you, so you can keep informed of what's going on. And then when you're in the call, when you're in an email, when you're chatting or texting or whatever all the different ways that people can contact us nowadays are, it's listening to what they're saying. What are the keywords that you keep hearing repeated? Do they talk about time a lot? Are they talking about money a lot? Are they talking about creating? Like, are they using words that are action based, so that you can see where their headspace is? Is it something about pain points? Is it dissatisfaction? And then listening to those so that you can take good notes, right? Because a part of the following up is connecting back to the things that they've said before, so that they do understand that what you are doing is paying attention, and that you are hearing what they're sharing, so that what you're doing is assessing their needs. And then you can help them make those informed decisions to say, listen, I hear that what you're talking about is that you just don't have a lot of time. So who's supporting you with that? Do you have an executive assistant? Do you have a marketing assistant? Do you have other people on your team that could help you accomplish these goals? All right, great. Well, let's get them in with somebody on our team. Let's get them to build out the first draft of this. You still have the control of what's going to be then sent to your clients, but let someone else start that first draft and let us help them through that process. So they realize that we are a partnership, we are in collaboration with them. And what we are looking to do is not just sell you a systems package and send you on your way. No, we want to help you customize it, implement it, and make it uniquely yours.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, such a key part to just making sure you have someone whose designated job is to just spend time doing all these things that I know as an owner, I wish I had time sometimes to do this stuff, but I'm getting pulled in four different directions, right? I can't always do this stuff. So definitely a key area. And I got to tell you, on the team side, I know that the rest of the team appreciates knowing that there's someone there to, be working with the clients, be that listening and giving feedback. Tell us a story about like something you've heard back from marketing team or somebody else on the team about like what you're doing and how valuable it was that you were able to convey some of that info.
That's honestly is how we started the boot camps, right? We were hearing a lot of our clients talking about pain points in hiring. And when we had went live with the first iteration of that alpha group, it was based on calls that I was having with people. And they were saying how hard it was to find people that we were starting to open back up. People were starting to come back in the office. People were starting to figure out how to hire remote employees. Oh goodness, how do I manage a remote employee? So we came up with making sure that we had KPIs and scorecards that we started to educate our clients about how to create those, giving them templates to create from so that they could manage the people that they were hiring that maybe weren't in their office. They weren't going to be walking by their desk. They weren't going to be clearly overseeing them. And that was something that really evolved out of understanding what was going on with the people that we were talking to and how could we better serve them. And that was then communicated to our marketing team to help create this program and to see that people wanted to build fast and that they could build while doing, and we could commit to doing it in a certain period of time each week. They could have live access to come in office hours. So that whole development came out of listening to our clients, communicating with the team, and that collaboration amongst everyone to see how we could put programs together that supported the needs that people were communicating.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is just market research, right? Like as we hear the same thing over and over, and then we start asking, and sure enough, we started that program and it's been awesome and people love it. And people are still signing up for it every single week. We just had 2 more people jump in the last couple of weeks. So, it's great that to have somebody on the team that's involved with doing that stuff. So let's move on a little bit. Again, connecting with clients, learning about client needs, listening, offer options to move forward, following up with people. These are all like little tasks that I know as an owner, I was like, I just don't always have time to do all these calls, to get on, to, follow up with people. So it's been such a great part of bringing someone in whose designated job was to do these things and to give us that opportunity to help more people. I mean, that's a lot of what it's at. So you were part of this, Jaclyn. As we were going through this, we said when clients were asking us about bringing in a salesperson or bringing in an intake person and saying we need somebody that can morph from one thing and kind of move into, we want to start off with just filling some holes and then maybe eventually have them do the sales. And that was how this whole package came together. I don't know if you remember the conversation we had, like, I don't know, like 9 months ago or so, eight months ago, where like, maybe we just need to put this package together so that people have it in a nutshell, in a less than 3 hour, 2.5 hours, beginning to end, hiring, onboarding, all the elements of what they do. What's your memory of putting this package together?
Really trying to get clear on what it meant because it means different things to different people. So some people want to know, all right, well, how many consults is this person doing? Are they actually the salesperson in the seat? Are they responsible for the actual selling? Do we need to watch conversion rates? Or are they starting off just having follow-up calls? Are they the one following up from the owner's calls? And that's how I started, right? So it's like, all right, I'm working on these people. These are people that are new to our business. So they really need to be introduced to what we do, how we speak, how we teach, how we resonate with our clients and the different spaces that they are in. So that was the follow-up, is really how I onboarded to the brand and how the voice and the steps that we want to take with our new audience. And then if it evolves, then we want to get into watching, okay, well, now you're doing the consults. How long does it take to convert them? How many sales are you in a week? How many follow-up calls are you doing? And then what does that look like in terms of actual coming onto the team, right? How much time is it taking to make these calls? So we can watch and see, all right, on average, it takes 15 minutes to follow up with somebody, or do we take 30 minutes to follow up with somebody? What does that call look like? Are we setting specific parameters to discuss in that conversation? Where do the notes go? What are the follow-up tests? What are the timelines in which that happens? Are we following up in 2 weeks, or are we on 4 weeks? And then looking at how many people are happy with the way that it's doing. How do we measure that? Are we sending them a survey monkey? Are we just having them tell us? Like, there's so many different things to start with that people just don't know where to start. So that's why we wanted to put this foundation together. So we have ideas of what's worked for us in the past, and so they can customize it to make it their own.
Well, and I think a part of this is also like people need to see the entire picture, right? They need to see all the different elements. And then you can train one human, like a new person that comes in, a client engagement specialist. Okay, I'm going to have you do these first 3 things, and I'm going to have you do number 5 and 6, right? And you might not have them doing the sales consultation in the beginning until they get up more comfortable with it. And they know our audience, they know our voice, they understand our products better, right? You wouldn't necessarily just hand brand new car keys over to some stranger on the street. You're going to make sure that you're going to build up that trust, right? So that's the other reason why in building this package this way, we were trying to like really lay it out so that they had the overview, but they could also be like, hey, I can do this piece. That's not that hard. So giving them that opportunity to step into those shoes and get there. So it's been pretty awesome. I know we got a lot of great feedback from a lot of people in the beginning, the beta testers to this package. And with everything we do, we're always looking to say, how can we make it better, right? How can we do more? That's part of what this is about. So Liz, I know that we've been, talking about that CES package, but part of it, I think, Jaclyn, is people want to hear from you. Like, what are some of your top tips of working with clients, being a client engagement specialist when you were in that role, and being able to like help the business grow and be, really a big proponent of helping move things forward?
I think it comes down to communication and clarity. I think understanding what that person is saying and asking questions so that they expand what they're saying. Because people will say, I just don't have time for that. Okay, well, what does that mean to you? Do you mean that you just don't have time for it today, this week? What does it mean to you in terms of you just don't have anyone to help you with it? So it's really getting clear on the objections that people put up and going through that barrier, having them elaborate further. And if it's just not the time and space for them to have those conversations, accepting that that's okay. And that you're welcome to follow us in these avenues, and let's have a, call, or let me send you a reference in the future, and let's talk again. It's not that you're never going to be able to help that person. It's just not now. Sometimes it's hearing that we can solve their problems by engaging with them in a strategy session, in a VIP day, in our coaching. And then sometimes it's that not, and we just need to have those conversations so that we can understand what they're looking for. If it's somebody in our referral network, that we can give them an option to contact and see if that helps them, and then they'll come back. That we are just in the business of helping them and helping them feel relief, even if it's just from the call. I've had plenty of conversations where they're like, I just feel better having gotten that out. Like, it's almost like a mini therapy session. Like, I just need to go through all these pain points to actually hear them. And then it's again, we follow up with an email, and we're like, we heard this in the conversation. And it's just sometimes seeing what they've communicated, because if they're just roguely getting it out, they're not even necessarily sure of what it is they're saying, because they're being asked questions that are open-ended. So they are just answering from whatever it is they're feeling. And then when you can organize that and put it down as, I heard this in the conversation, and I feel that if you were to look at this resource or check out this video, that this may give you a little more information. And then that little more information may help them have more clarity, or it may not, and that's okay. But what we're trying to do is just help them, at least from that conversation.
Well, and that's part of, sometimes I'm able to say, hey, listen, I know you got on and told me you need X, but I just listened to you and you said this, this, and this. And frankly, these last two are your most important. Like, go solve those in the next week or two. That's going to free you up for this other part. That's why I love doing triage calls too, because it's helping people get that clarity and giving them some honest, brutal feedback sometimes on what they think they need versus what, from our perspective, from having I've seen thousands and thousands of business owners go through different parts, and it's like, hey, this is what we think is going on. But again, and that's, as you train up a client engagement specialist, they learn, they listen, they get experience. They're hearing and watching the owner and the experienced people on the team. And that's where they're gleaning those, those nuggets, those biz nuggets. So awesome. Well, thank you for those final tips. I know we've got to wrap up. I will say that we had some great comments. I think Jen jumped in there and said, Jaclyn makes my job so much better, which I love. But you do give a lot of insights back to the marketing team on, hey, we're hearing a lot about X, or, people don't seem to understand this other part. And so that's very valuable. It's so important to have somebody on the sales team giving feedback to the marketing team, especially as you're growing fast. You need to have that conversation. Back when it was just me in month 1 and 2, it was like, my brain I was wearing both hats. And so the conversation was in my head. Now you all get to jump on a Zoom and talk about this stuff. So super awesome. Thank you, everyone. We do have this client engagement specialist package. You're welcome to go check it out. There's a launch bonus through February 15th. That's super awesome. It's a $3,000 gift just because I want people to build these systems, and I want you to find good, strong client engagement specialists. So that's in the chat or in the comments on a number of the platforms. But you can always come to uplevelingyourbusinesssystems.com and take a look. Or Jaclyn, another thing that you helped us get in the habit of doing and having is you can text us and get a member of our team will text back and engage and ask you questions about what you need. This is just part of our desire to really help people get the help they need when they need it. So
absolutely.
Awesome. Jaclyn, any final words in this little fireside chat?
Yeah, just contact us with any questions. We're here to have conversations with you to find out what it looks like for sales on your team and what this person's responsibilities and hiring could look like for you.
Awesome. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, everybody. Well, happy Systems Saturday. Have a fabulous rest of your day and week. And for those watching the replay and the videos, we're here to help and guide you. It's even if we don't end up ultimately being the right fit, or, even if we just are able to give you that nugget to redirect you to something that helps you, please, and you'll reach out to my team. We're here to help. And Jaclyn, thank you again. And congrats again on your 1-year anniversary with the team. We love having you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.